Can you hear me there at the jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Judge Ruppe, and you are here this morning for first appearance. The purpose of this hearing is to inform you of the charges against you and determine whether there is probable cause for your arrest. Probable cause only means that it's more likely than not that you committed the crime in which you've been arrested for. As you stand before me today, you're considered not guilty of what you've been charged with, and that status will remain with you through each stage of these proceedings up until changed by you if you plea out to your case, or the state attorney's office if they prove the case against you beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. In all likelihood, you are arrested on a warrant or a new charge. Either way, you are given a bond pursuant to the bond schedule for the 5th Judicial Circuit. I will determine whether to keep that bond the same, increase it, decrease it, or whether there are any other conditions of pre-trial release which will be imposed upon you. You are entitled to have an attorney represent you at each stage of these proceedings. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, I can appoint the public defender's office for you this morning. You are also entitled to make a phone call if you haven't been able to do so yet, to let friends, family, or your counsel know where you are. Please let me know. I'll make sure you get that phone call today. Finally, and most importantly, you have the right to remain silent, and I encourage you to do so. These hearings are recorded, and there is an assistant state attorney in this courtroom writing down everything that you say. So anything you say about the facts of your case can and will be used against you in the prosecution of your case down the road. At this time, I'd like everyone to raise your right hand so I can place you under oath. Swear or affirm the testimony before the court this morning will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, go ahead and put your hands down. As I call your name, please come forward to the podium. Kelly Ross. Good morning, Ms. Ross. Can I have your date of birth?
7979.
Okay. You are here this morning for a violation of probation. There is probable cause for your arrest. Do you want the public defender's office to represent you on that?
I'm going to say yes for now, but I'm trying to get a hold of my lawyer.
Okay. Who is your lawyer?
Keith Hammond.
Okay. Is that a court-appointed attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender's office at this time. If you do hire private counsel, he'll file a notice of appearance, and the public defender will withdraw from your case. I'm going to hold you on no bond because that's what Judge Toner wants, and we're going to see you back. What is it? Was it Judge Toner?
It is, but she's also scheduled to stand on the drug court.
Oh. Do you want to put her back on the drug court and see what she does?
She'll get sent back to Judge Toner's, most likely at that point. So I would ask for the file to be on Judge Toner's.
It was a suspended judge.
Apparently, Judge Toner sentenced her to probation with a 5-year suspended sentence and to successfully complete drug court. And I don't think she's made it to drug court yet.
Oh, she's never been to drug court?
No.
So
I don't believe so.
she needs to go back to Judge Toner.
Okay, and then if Judge Toner wants to send her back to drug court, he can do that?
Yes.
Okay, so the 29th, is that a Judge Toner date?
Yes,
Okay, so we're going to see you back to court in front of Judge Toner on January 29th at 8:30 in the morning, and he's going to, you can talk to him about what's going to go on with your case, okay?
So
Thank
at this
you.
point, should we strike the...
I would strike it from the drug court docket at this point, and if Judge Toner wants to send her back there, he will.
Okay, thank you.
I was told that I was supposed to go.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Talk to your attorney, okay? Lori Roberts.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Ms. Roberts. Can I have your date of birth?
1766.
Okay, you are here this morning for a failure to appear on a warrant out of Citrus County. It was a warrant signed by Judge Yerman, and the bond is $4,000. Do you want me to appoint the public defender to represent you on that case?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Citrus County is going to come pick you up within the next few days. We're going to keep the bond at $4,000. When you do get up to Citrus County, ask for your attorney, and they'll give you a court date when you get up there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Alrighty. Brandy Price.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Price, can I have your date of birth?
385.
All right, you are here this morning for a violation of probation. There is probable cause for your arrest. Do you want me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you?
Please.
Officially appoint the public defender's office. And this is a Judge Toner. the soonest date we can get the 12th? Maybe earlier than February 12th?
We can do the 29th.
The 29th one? Okay. That's still at 8:30, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're going to keep your bond at no bond because that's what Judge Turner wants for this violation of probation. We're going to see you back to court, though, on January 29th at 8:30 in the morning, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Jennifer's here.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Steer. Can I have your date of birth?
2/21/1984.
Okay. You are here today for a violation of probation. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Do you want to represent yourself, hire somebody? Do you want the public defender's office?
Public Defender's Office, please.
Provision appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Okay, we're going to keep you at no bond right now. And this is Judge Merritt, right?
Correct.
Yes, because that's what Judge Merritt wants. And we're going to see you back in front of Judge Merritt on February 6th at 9 a.m. Someone from the public defender's office will come out and see you soon, okay?
Do you think we should get anything any sooner? I have a job.
You have to talk to Judge Merritt about that. Speak to your attorney. Maybe your attorney can get you in front of Judge Merritt sooner to talk about getting you a bond, okay? But I'm not going to do that this morning.
Thank you.
Nicole Davis. Ms. Davis, can I have your date of birth?
05/14/1984.
Okay, you were here this morning for a charge of uttering a forged instrument and forgery of a check. I do find probable cause for each of those, and there's a bond of $2,000 on each of those. And that's based on a warrant signed by Judge Scaglione back in December. Do you want me to appoint the public defender's office to represent you? You can hire an attorney or represent yourself.
Public defender, ma'am.
Okay, provision appoint the public defender's office. State, does she have a prior record?
She does, Judge, out of New Jersey, October of 2017. I have, looks like possession with intent to use, drug, something, and possession of a syringe. And then out of Florida in January 2017, I have a possession of heroin that was ultimately dropped out of Fort Lauderdale. In 2015, a possession of paraphernalia and a violation of probation. That were convictions. 2015, a violation of probation in Fort Lauderdale. 2014, a grand theft of police position. And then in 2003, I have 3 violations of probation.
Okay. Ms. Davis, I have an address for you on 30th Street in Fort Lauderdale. Is that where you live?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any address here in Hernando County?
No, ma'am. I'm from Broward County.
Okay. Do you have a job?
No, ma'am. I stay with my dad. My dad's sick. He's elderly.
Okay. Well, considering your significant record and your lack of ties to the community, I'm going to set the bond at $4,000 each. We're going to see you back to court on February 6th at 9 a.m. Someone from the public defender's office will come out and see if you can't bond out, okay?
Thank you.
Lexi Gobble.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Gobble. Can I have your date of birth?
10/8/97.
All right. You are here today for a domestic battery charge. I did find probable cause for that. Do you want me to appoint the public defender to represent you?
Sure.
Appoint the public defender's office. State she doesn't have a prior record, right? Judge, at this time I do not see any sort of a criminal history. Okay. Can I have the attorney's approach on this real quick? All right, Ms. Gubb, I have an address for you on Coronado Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you live there with Karen?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have someplace else you can go?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give you a bond of $50, okay? I'm going to need to hold you until 4 o'clock today in case Karen wants to file an injunction against you. That will be civil paperwork restricting you from having any contact with her. But I'm also going to order you to have no contact with Karen Dove, okay? That's your mom?
Yeah.
Okay, don't have any contact with her whatsoever. Do not call her, do
Right.
not write her, do not email her. Do not have anyone else call her, write her, or email her, okay? If you have any contact with Karen while this case is pending, without a judge telling you any differently, then you will be held in contempt and you will be charged with another crime and you'll sit in jail while you resolve your cases, okay? So don't do it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, we're going to see you back to court on February 6th why are we changing it to January 31st? Okay, so I have a note changing it to January 31st. Okay, so we're setting it for January 31st.
They gave it a dollar.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. No, we don't want that one. January 31st, courtroom be at 9 a.m., okay? Make sure to get in touch with your attorney.
All right.
Erica Howlett.
Good morning.
Hi, Ms. Howlett. Can I have your date of birth?
3983.
You are here this morning for a domestic battery charge. I did find probable cause for that. Did you want to represent yourself? Do you want to hire somebody, or do you want the public defender's office?
Public defender, please. Sorry, I'll just represent myself. I apologize.
Okay. State the chief of prior record.
Judge, I do not see a criminal history at this time.
Okay. Ms. Howlett, I have an address for you on Little Farms Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
3 years?
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
Software, IT work?
Okay. Or did you live with the victim in this case? Is it William?
Yeah.
You lived with him?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to set your bond at $500 in this case. I'm going to order that you have no contact with William Howlett. That means do not call him, do not write him, do not email him, do not have any contact with him whatsoever. Do not have anyone else have any contact with him. If you see him out somewhere, you should turn around and go the other way. If he calls you, you should hang up the phone. If you do have any contact with Mr. Howlett while this case is pending, you will be arrested on a new charge and held without bond. Do you understand all of that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hold you until 4 o'clock today in case Mr. Howlett wants to file an injunction against you. If you do get that injunction, make sure to read it carefully. It'll be very specific as to how many feet you need to stay away from him, his house, or anywhere else that he may frequent. Were you guys living together at that Little Farms Drive address?
Yes. My
Okay.
home under my name.
You got someplace else to go?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to see you back to court on January 31st at 9 a.m. And you're self-represented. So if you change your mind, you want an attorney at that point, let us know in that court hearing, okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lisa Henley.
Judge, can you verify that she's also known as Lisa Balmer for us on the record, please?
Ms. Henley, are you known by any other last name?
Yes.
What is the last name?
Balmer.
How do you spell that?
BALMER.
Okie. All right, what's your date of birth?
32976.
All right. You are here today arrested on a battery charge. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Do you want to hire somebody, represent yourself, or do you want the public defender's office?
Public defender.
I'll provisionally appoint the public defender to represent you. State, prior record.
Judge, her history out of Florida to start in March of 2017 was a failure to appear here in Hernando County, and that was for a possession of controlled substance. Adjudication was held in 2015, a probation violation in Hernando County. 2015, a battery with no disposition. 2015, out of Hernando, also a resistance without violence and a culpable negligence charge. culpable negligence, and the resisting was adjudicated guilty. And then she has an out-of-state history for thefts in New York from 2003. And that is all I see right now. And she is currently on probation still.
All right, Ms. Henley, I have an address for you on Sylvia Ave. Is that where you live?
Yes.
All right, how long have you lived there?
A year.
Okay. Got a job these days?
No.
All right. All right, I'm going to set your bond in the battery case at $1,000. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Kevin Walden in that case. Do not call him. Do not write him. Do not email him. Do not have any contact with him whatsoever. If you do have any contact with him, you'll be charged with another crime and held without bond in that case. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And we're going to see you back to court in that case on January 31st at 9 a.m. You're also here this morning for a violation of probation. I did find probable cause for your arrest on that. We're going to get you back in front of Judge Toner. He wants you held without bond on that. So we're going to hold you without bond until you go back to court in front of him on February 12th at 8:30 in the morning. So make sure, appoint the public defender on that case as well, okay? Your attorney will come out to see you soon.
Okay.
La Selva Garica Scott Bain.
Good morning. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. Have your date of birth, ma'am?
2464.
All right. You are here today for a violation of probation out of Pinellas. Looks like there's a $1,000 bond on that. It's a leaving Stephen accident. So what's going to happen is I'm going to keep the bond at $1,000 because that's what the judge down there wants. If you do bond out before that, you need to go down to Pinellas and figure out when your court date is going to be so that we don't continue having to arrest you on this violation of probation warrant, okay? So we're going to keep the bond at $1,000. If you're unable to bond out, Pinellas County will come get you within the next few days, take you down there, and you can ask for a public defender and a court date when you get down there, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck. Ralph Alfonso.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Alfonso. Can I have your date of birth?
January 26, 1965.
First thing you're here for today is a trespass. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Do you want to represent yourself? Do you want to hire somebody? Or do you want the public defender's office?
Public defender office is fine.
I'll provision point the public defender's office to represent you. I have an address for you on Acer Lane in Hudson. Is that where you live?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you lived there?
About 3 months now, ma'am.
All right. Where'd you live before that?
Living here in Hernando, ma'am.
Where did you live before you lived on that Acer Road address? Did you live in Hernando?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how long did you live in Hernando for?
About 16 months.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
Electrical engineering, ma'am.
Okay. I did see the VOP statement. Does he have any other prior record?
Judge, he does have a record, a bunch of miscellaneous stuff all the way back to the 80s, throughout the 90s. The most severe things that I do see are resisting with violence, and an aggravated assault with deadly weapon that was ultimately dropped. And those are all from the 90s. From the 2000s, this is the only thing I see.
All right, we're going to keep your bond at $1,000 on the trespass. We're going to see you back to court on that case on January 31st at 9 a.m. I'm going to order that you have no contact with the victim in that case, Rhonda Hawkins. If you have any contact with her while this case is pending or you're found on her property again, you'll be arrested on a new charge, okay? And you'll be held without
Yes, ma'am.
bond until you resolve all of these cases. I also have a probable cause affidavit here for an arrest on a violation of probation. It looks like you were on probation out of Miami-Dade County.
Pasco, ma'am.
Is that a Pasco? It says Miami-Dade. Were you reporting in Pasco? Were you initially placed on probation out of Miami?
It was originally out of Miami, but yes, I was.
And you're
I was
reporting in
transferred
Pasco?
to
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, we're going to keep you held no bond on that. And I think it would be Dade County who comes and gets them, right? Not Pasco.
Correct.
Okay, so
Actually, Your Honor, it's actually Department of Corrections. I'm under conditional release.
He's on parole.
oh, okay. All right, well, the Department of Corrections will come swipe you up when they're ready to come get you, as far as I understand it. But we're going to hold you no bond on that violation of probation at this time until they can get you in front of a judge to decide what to do with you on that case, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So that case, the court date is going to be on demand whenever you get to back to that county.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Raymond Bristol.
Judge, the victims of present defense.
Good morning, Mr. Bristol. Can I have your date of birth?
10/14/79.
Okay, Mr. Bristol, you're here this morning for a domestic battery charge. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Did you want to represent yourself? Do you want to hire somebody, or do you want the public defender's office?
Public Defender's Office.
Okay. Then you appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Sorry, I don't have an address for you, but I have that you're living somewhere in Newport Richey. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just don't know the actual number of the house. I know the street. I just forgot it.
Okay, are you living
I just
with your
moved
parents?
there. No, I was living with my family. Now I'm living with my girlfriend.
Okay, what's the street? Do you know the street?
Charles Street. It's in Newport. It's in Newport Richey.
How long have you been living there?
About a month and a half.
Where did you live before that?
With my family on 14366 Dark Horse Street.
In Hernando County?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a job these days?
I have do handyman maintenance work, and I have a job coming up.
Okay. All right. State, does he have a prior record?
He does, Judge. I see some stuff out of New York. It looks like from 2013. Resisting arrest. It looks like he was convicted upon that. In 2001, I had petty theft. He was convicted of that as well. And then in Florida, in 2017, I have a battery that was ultimately dropped. In 2009, I have a grave theft that was ultimately dropped, grave theft auto. 2007, I have another domestic battery that was ultimately dropped. 2006, a probation violation for fleeing to a actually, I don't know what the probation violation is, but in 2005, I have another probation violation for fleeing to elude. Another one in 2005, and then a retail grave theft in 2005, and in 2004, another battery that was ultimately dropped.
Okay. All right, do you want to say something? Come on up. Oh, hold on. We got to put you into a...
My son.
But raise your hand. Swear from testimony before the court, be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
What is your name?
My name's
Monique Spellman?
Money. Yes.
Okay. And how are you related to Raymond Bristol?
I'm his mother.
Okay. What do you want me to know?
We've been trying to get him help. He has emotional problems. We've had a lot of trauma in our family. And we haven't been able to do that.
Okay.
God, please. He doesn't go to jail.
Okay. Has he ever been committed or hospitalized for a mental illness?
I've been trying to get him to go to counseling.
Okay.
We had a problem with some of the counselors, and they were very expensive. He doesn't have insurance.
Okay.
That's been part of the problem, which is why we called the police. And I told them when I called that I didn't want him, to go to jail, that we've been trying to find a way to get him some counseling, and I want to go into things here in public.
Okay.
That's exactly what's
Okay. All right.
So I was wondering if I know there's normally a no contact, and I know that he can't come see us, but if you could at least be phone calls because we're the only ones that he has.
Okay.
There is no support on his side. His father's abandoned him. So there's nobody, so I can't arrange anything like for him to get an attorney, or they impounded his car, so he wouldn't be able to get it without our help. So we would have to be able to talk so that he would be able to pick up money or something from someone, you know what I mean, to pay them to get his car.
Are you familiar with the 2017 battery that was dropped?
Mm-hmm.
Were you the alleged victim in that case?
I'm sorry?
Were you the alleged victim in that case? And the 2007 battery, was that also you?
I don't know. No.
2004 battery, was that you?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You don't know?
There was one with our daughter.
Oh.
He patted her on the bottom because she threw a phone in the pool.
Okay.
And I think the others were us.
Okay.
I think they were us, but they didn't have any on anybody else. It was all with us.
Okay.
And it all stems to do with drugs and
Okay.
I think all of these other problems that have never been resolved.
Okay. Well, here's the issue. There's only so much I can do this morning. And there's only so much the state attorney and the public defender can do this morning at first appearance. He's going to have to go through the process of this case. Fortunately, that if he resolves this case at any time, the state will order some type of intervention or some type of counseling or a batterers intervention program. They could order drug screens or a drug abuse program. And things like that as a condition of probation, and that might be something you want to talk to the state attorney about if that's something that you feel like he needs in his case. But that's down the road. The only thing that I need to consider this morning is his bond amount, and I have to base that on his prior record, okay, and his ties to the community. I'm sorry, sir?
Sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
I need to base that on his prior record and also on whether the bond amount is going to secure his appearance in court.
He's never missed a court date.
I understand that, but he has violated his probation at least twice. And the 3 or 4 batteries that have previously been charged and dropped, that's a big red flag.
They're all with us, though. You know,
I don't know if that makes it better or worse, but that's a big red flag to me. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and set a bond. I'm not going to remove the no contact. I will allow telephone contact with you and you only.
Thank you.
And sir, that means you can't even get violent or verbal violence with her over the phone. If you do, then you could violate this condition. Okay, I'm going to allow you telephone contact only. So do not write. Do not send letters or anything like that. Telephone contact only with your mom, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to set the bond at $2,500. It's up to you, I guess, whether you want to bond him out or not. The no contact provision with Dennis Spellman will stay in place. I don't want him to have any contact. And then I'm going to see him back to court on January 31st at 9 a.m., okay? Before you leave there at the jail, we need to know where you're living. You cannot live with the Spellman. So if you're living in Newport Richie somewhere, you need to give them the address.
Okay.
Got it?
Judge
Yes.
Clifford.
Can I just speak to? Okay.
Go ahead.
No problem. I'll
Is
get
that 2,500 account?
I have in my property the number to the person that was there with me and my girlfriend, her mother, and I don't have the number on me. I have to use that number to call her to get the actual number of the house.
Okay. Well, someone's got to get that number before you're allowed to leave jail, okay? Are you guys going to be filing an injunction against him?
I'm sorry?
I assume you're not filing an injunction against him. So I'm not going to order the hold until 4 because they're here and they're not filing. But it is $2,500 each count. And he's got to be back to court January 31st. Okay?
I have two.
All right.
I have 2 counts.
Yes, sir. DeAndre Goodson. Mr. Goodson, can I have your date of birth?
2/20/95.
Okay. You are here so I can advise you that you have a violation of probation arraignment set in front of Judge Mira on January 23rd, 2018 at 9 o'clock. And do you want the public defender to represent you in that case?
Yes.
Okay. We'll provisionally appoint the public defender's office, and we'll see you back on January 23rd, okay?
All right.
John Naper? Hi, Mr. Naper. Can I have your date of birth?
6/30/87.
All right. You are here this morning for a failure to appear in front of me for a driving on suspended driver's license. Back on November 8th, 2017, the bond amount was $500. Looking at your prior driving record here, it looks like you're driving on a habitual suspension that was never cleaned up, and that you have 3 prior driving on suspended driver's licenses between Lake and Marion County. You have several unpaid tickets and several cases that you still owe money on, probably 3 cases and 3 tickets. Do you want to try to resolve your case today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you want to resolve your case today, I'll go ahead and sentence you to 10 days jail. You get credit for the time that you have in.
Ma'am, if I may say, I was in Pasco County whenever I had coordinated here in Hernando County.
Okay, you're not being charged with
I-
failure to appear, sir. You're being charged with
I
driving
understand
on a
that.
suspended driver's license.
I understand. I just signed 24 months probation in Pasco, over Pasco County. I would like to get that ran concurrent with that, if that's possible.
Well, I would sentence you to 10 days. You'd get credit for whatever days that you have in. You probably doesn't have any days at the beginning, right?
I judged my computer.
Okay. All right. So it looks like you have 2 days in, so you'd have to do about another week here in Hernando before you go over to Pasco. You want to go ahead and do that today, or are we going to see you back to court on January 31st?
I have no other charges in Pasco. I signed 24 months probation Thursday for Pasco. I would like to run this case right here concurrent with the probation time that I already have in Pasco. That's
Okay.
possible.
Well, I'm telling you right now, what I'll do is I'll sentence you to 10 days jail and give you credit for the 2 days that you have in.
Okay. What about the days that I was in Pasco that I was served the warrant for?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Nobody's computer seems to be working to figure that out.
That'd have been.
Does the jail have any information on that?
Let me check, ma'am.
I have information right here, man. This is y'all stuff.
He was arrested January 4th for this.
Okay. Today the 9th. So he'll have 5 days in. Okay, so you'll have 5 days in. You get credit for those 5 days.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to take care of it today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You understand by taking care of your case today, you're giving up your right to go to trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Giving up your right to confront witnesses against you, call witnesses on your own behalf, and you're giving up your right to have the state prove the case against you. You want to give up those rights in order to take care of this case today?
Yes, ma'am.
With regard
I
to...
also have a question, ma'am.
Sure, go
I have a
ahead.
question. Now, does the police report state that I was outside of the vehicle when the police showed up?
Sir, I don't have any information about the original arrest. All I have is the warrant for the driving on suspended today. But if you think there's a defense to your case, that's fine. What we can do is I will keep the bond at $500, and we'll see you back in court on January 31st. I'll appoint the public defender so you can have plenty of opportunity to speak to the public defender about your case, okay?
I'll
See
take
you
the
back
10 days,
in
ma'am. I'll take the 10 days, ma'am.
Philip Guy? Hi, Mr. Guy. Can I have your date of birth?
Excuse me?
Can I have your date of birth, please?
3672.
Okay. You are here today for a criminal mischief charge. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Do you want to represent yourself? Do you want to hire somebody, or do you want the public defender's office?
Public defender?
Okay, I'll provisionally appoint the public defender's office to represent you. State to see for prior record.
Judge, he has a limited prior record. In 2013, I see a DUI, and then in 2002, I see an altering of a tag out of Hillsborough, and then in the 90s, I see a failure to appear for a trespass, and that's the only history.
Okay. Mr. Guy, I have an address for you on Lola Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
About 6-7 months. 6 months.
Okay, where'd you live before that? Hernando County or somewhere else?
I lived in New Orleans 2 years.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
Excuse me?
Do you have a job?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
Home improvement?
Okay. Alright, I'm going to set your bond at $500, but I'm going to order that you have no contact with Donnie Rapier. That's the alleged victim in this case, so do not have any contact, or go to his house, or call, or write him, okay? Or her, sorry, her.
Sure.
Don't have any contact with her whatsoever. Is she living at the address on Lola Drive?
Yes, she is.
Okay, if she's at that address, I don't want you to go back there. You've got to find someplace else to go. Do you understand that?
Okay, even though I pay the bills there?
Yeah, even though you pay the bills there. If you don't like it, you can stay right where you are. We'll see you back to court on January 31st at 9 a.m.
All right, thank you.
Carl Don. Mr. Don, can I have your date of birth?
2983.
You were here this morning on driving on a suspended driver's license. The bond is currently $1,000. And I also have you here for possession of controlled substance. The bond is $2,000. I did find probable cause for both of these. Did you want to represent yourself? Do you want to hire somebody, or do you want the public defender's office?
Public defender, ma'am.
Okay. Provision appoints the public defender's office to represent you. State, does he have a prior record?
He sure does, Judge. Just give me a moment. It's not the smallest thing. In 2013, I have multiple defrauding of DSPs, defrauding a pawnbroker, and grand thefts. Looks like he served 5 years in prison for that, so my assumption is he just recently got out. That and multiple felony petty thefts, there was a total of 12 charges, Judge, for that in 2013. Prior to that, 2012, I have another felony petty theft, adjudicated guilty on that. Looks like he served a year and a day in prison on that one. And then in 2011, I have uttering false instruments, probation violations for grand thefts. In 2007, I have another dealing in stolen property and defrauding. 2007, I have a burglary with an assault or battery, and ultimately was dropped down to a burg structure. There's also a violation of probation that went with that. It's just another burg with assault battery that was ultimately dropped in 2006. Another dealing in stolen property and burglary of a dwelling only led to the dealing in stolen property. Also in 2006, more dealing in stolen properties he pled to. 2005, I have a DV battery that he was convicted upon. 2002, I have a escape and resisting with violence, and looks like a Bat Leo that was ultimately convicted. In 2002, another violation of probation, and in 2001, dealing in stolen property, grand theft auto, and burglary, all convicted.
Okay. Mr. Don, I have an address for you on Wooden Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you lived there?
Since 2005, ma'am.
Do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I work at LRE doing sinkholes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. For the knowingly drive while your driver's license was suspended or revoked, I'm going to set your bond at $3,000, and we're going to see you back to court on that case on January 31st at 9 a.m. I've appointed the public defender. With regard to the possession of a controlled substance, I'm going to set your bond at $6,000, appoint the public defender, and see you back to court February 6th at 9 a.m. If you're unable to bond out, someone from the public defender's office will come out and see you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
David Henley?
Yeah, I just need to know whether or not people read it. What was the felony?
2-6.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Henley, can I have your date of birth?
7/12/65.
All right. You are here this morning for a battery charge. The bond is currently at $500. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Do you want to represent yourself, hire somebody, or do you want the public defender's office?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I have an address. We have Sylvia Ave in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
Year.
Okay, you have a job?
No, I'm on disability.
Okay. State, does he have a prior record?
2017, April, I see an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon that was ultimately dropped. 2016, I have a domestic battery that was ultimately found not guilty at trial. In 2014, I have another domestic battery by strangulation that was dropped, and a misdemeanor battery, which ended up being a battery second offense, that was ultimately dropped. And that is all I see for Florida. It does indicate he has an out-of-state history. Looks like out of New Jersey. I have from 2002. He was found not guilty on a possession charge. In 2009, criminal mischief, ultimately dismissed. 2011, a possession, ultimately dismissed. And assault in 2014, that was ultimately dismissed. And then I have out of Nevada, it looks like. Out of Nevada, I have 2003. I have burglary, theft, with no criminal disposition at this time for those.
Okay. All right, Mr. Henley, I'm going to order that you have no contact with Kevin Walden while this case is pending. Do not call him, do not write him, do not email him, do not have anyone else call him or write him or email him. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you do have any contact with Mr. Walden while this case is pending, you'll be charged with another crime and you'll be held without bond while we resolve these cases. Okay? I'm going to set your bond at $2,000. We're going to see you back to court January 31st at 9 a.m.
Okay, yeah.
David Lemeroux. Mr. Lemeroux, can I have your date of birth?
5/4/1979.
Okay, you were here this morning for a violation of probation. Looks like you were placed on probation by Judge Toner. There is probable cause for your arrest. Judge Toner wants no bond on that at this time. We're going to keep that at no bond, and we're going to get you back in front of Judge Toner on February 12th. Do you want the public defender to represent you on that case?
I have an attorney that's representing me.
Who's that?
It's going to be Matthew.
Pila?
I'm sorry, it's Matthew.
Okay. Attorney Matthew.
Wendell.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that a private attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I'll put you in that you're going to hire an attorney. Let your attorney know that your court date is February 12th at 8:30 in the morning, okay?
I have one question for you,
Sure.
Your Honor, if you don't mind. Is there any possible way to get a date a little bit closer?
Well, that's something that your attorney could possibly do for you, okay? Get in touch with your attorney right away. If they can get you in front of Judge Toner sooner, then they will do that.
Yes, thank you.
Louis Mia.
Good morning.
Good morning. You don't have to be so close to the mic. What's your date of birth?
3/17/86.
Gotcha. All right, you're here this morning for providing false name to law enforcement officer. I did find probable cause for that. State, is there something we can take a plea on today?
Judge, we're willing to offer 5 days today just based upon the facts of the case.
Okay. If you want to take a plea today, the state is going to offer 5 days. You'll get credit for the 2 days that you have in. You want to take care of it today, or do you want to come back to court after speaking to an attorney on January 31st?
What does that mean, 5 days with 2 days already have in?
That means you have about 3 days left.
Well, I have animals in my house with nobody to feed them right now.
Okay, so you don't want to take that offer?
No.
Okay, so we'll keep the bond at $1,000. We'll see you back to court on January 31st at 9 a.m. Do you want me to appoint the public defender to represent you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're going to hire a private attorney or represent yourself?
Myself.
Okay, we'll see you back to court January 31st.
Awesome.
Okay, did we get everyone at the jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
The date on Mr. Naper was 1/31, correct?
The date on Mr.
The gentleman that was going to take a plea in today.